All right, guys, we're going to get started shortly. Judah, we're live on my Facebook. If you want to check YouTube and LinkedIn, please.
All right.
Take a look at the screen for today's headlines. Take a look at the screen for today's headlines. We have a diverse content profile on today's show, which I think is going to be to the betterment of you, the viewer and listener. Do us the favor of liking and sharing the show live on I Love CVille Facebook. We work hard for you, and that's the only thing we ask in return, that you like the show, better yet, share the show on your Facebook profile. That would mean more to us. Retweet the show, comment on the show, tag a friend on the show, subscribe to the I Love CVille YouTube channel, search the I Love CVille network on YouTube, and you can find our network that is approaching 500,000 views, which we're excited about. We have tourism experts anticipating a 1 billion local impact from tourism in Charlottesville and Albemarle County. They point to the 250-year celebration or anniversary of the United States and the 50-year anniversary of the downtown mall. We now have some clarity, the 50-year anniversary of the mall and what to expect. That won't be till summertime. I want to talk about the downtown mall and the 50-year celebration. I want to talk on today's show about the potential third rodeo for Richard Randolph on the Board of Supervisors, or excuse me, on the Planning Commission in the Scottsville District. That may happen very, very soon. Got a little ping in our inbox about Mr. Randolph, and I want to ask the question: how does this apply to? Why would Randolph, Richard Randolph, who is very skilled, very experienced, no spring chicken, Mr. Randolph. I think he would agree with that. He's approaching 79 years old. Have a third rodeo on the Planning Commission in Albemarle County. We may try to unpack that on today's program. A lot we're going to cover on the broadcast. Jude, I'm going to ask you which headline intrigues you the most and why here in a matter of moments. You got us confirmed on YouTube?
Yep.
Great. Excellent work. Vanessa Parkhill, thank you for liking the show. If you guys could be so inclined, like and share the show, please. That would mean the absolute world to us. We work hard for you. That's the only thing we ask in return. Which headline most intrigues you and why, Judah?
That top headline, I think it's interesting that we've been hearing so much about the school, UVA, and its faculty and its students wanting a role, a voice, a vote in pretty much everything that happens. And the school actually has a lot of these rules already written out. And so really they're clamoring for, what they're clamoring for has already been decided. And it's interesting that it's right there on the university's own website, delineated for anyone to read what the faculty has in terms of a role, in terms of what their responsibility is, and its faculty role in university governance. You can find it on the uvapolicy.virginia.edu website, but I find it very interesting that we've been having this discussion, and the whole time the policy is right there for anyone to read.
We'll talk about that on the program today. Well done, Judah Wickower. All right, we can rock and roll, my friend, when you are ready on the Thursday edition of the show.
Quiet on the set.
Welcome to the I Love CVille show, guys. My name is Jerry Miller. Thank you kindly for joining us, the Thursday edition of the program. It's a pleasure to connect with you guys through our flagship show. A lot we're going to cover on the broadcast. If you look at the headlines on screen, you will see a eclectic and diverse content profile for you, the viewer and listener. We try to be the water cooler of content and conversation. It's the 2026 version of your newspaper for Charlottesville, Albemarle, and Central Virginia, for the University of Virginia, for the Commonwealth. We have politics, we have business, we have real estate, planning, development. We have, just a lot that we need to cover today. The University of Virginia on the show, tourism on the show, an interesting vote from Natalie Oshrin on the Vietnam memorial and access to the memorial. Takes a lot of I don't want to say chutzpah, perhaps insanity to vote against access for veterans in a memorial in Charlottesville. That's extremely difficult to access, where veterans are risking their life to visit the current memorial, and all they want is an access point, and Natalie Oshrin votes against giving those veterans access to the memorial. Strange. I want to talk about that on today's show. We'll highlight the three most important minutes of news for you, the viewer and listener, at the bottom of the hour or at the bottom of the show, and we encourage you, the viewer and listener, to join us in on the discussion. Send us content. We want to be the water cooler of conversation. We don't have to initiate the content. If there's something of merit that you think should be discussed on the show, send us in DM, text message, email fashion, and we'll consider it. And if it's of legitimacy, we'll talk about it on the program. We have a new potential chair for the Albemarle County Republican Committee, a committee that has not won a race locally since Ken Boyd in the Rio District with the Albemarle County Board of Supervisors. If Philip Reese is in fact confirmed as the chairman of the Albemarle County Republican Committee, I want to talk what we could expect from Philip Reese, a local business person, for a very much embattled, if not forgotten, Republican committee here in Albemarle County. A lot we want to cover on the program. I want to highlight John and Andrew Vermillion at Charlottesville Sanitary Supply. They have two companies, Charlottesville Sanitary Supply, which is on East High Street, and online at charlottesvillesanitarysupply.com. They also have their swimming pool company called Charlottesville Swimming Pool Company. And I encourage you to support the Vermillions, who are 5 generations strong in Albemarle County. Their business is 3 generations strong. They have an e-commerce platform at charlottesvillesanitarysupply.com that will get the items you purchased on your doorstep, in many cases on the same day, for free at price points that beat the big box brands. So there's no reason why you should not be supporting local. Sanitary, ice, snow, pool robots, vacuums, vacuum repair, water testing, swimming pool consultation. This is the outfit or the team or the family to call for anything tied to those services locally, ladies and gentlemen. Judah Wickhauer is behind the camera. Why don't we go to the studio camera and then, my friend, to a two-shot. I say good afternoon to you, sir. The headline you find today that's most intriguing before we do our rundown, Judah Wickhauer. My friend, what is on your mind today?
I am intrigued by, I'm also intrigued by Natalie Oshrin's vote as well. But I think it's crazy that that there's so much discussion, so much arguing about what the students at UVA, what the faculty senate at UVA have in terms of rights as responsibilities, and a lot of it is written out and was set as policy by the Board of Visitors, who are the ones in charge of the university. And you can look up UVA policy online. They've got a UVA policy subdomain for their website, and all this stuff is laid out for anyone to read. So I'm not sure what the argument is. You would think that people on the faculty senate would understand UVA policy?
We have and this is the lead headline if you want to put the lower third on screen. We have this crossroads that's, upon us at the University of Virginia. And you have these different factions at UVA that are fighting, tooth and nail. They're clawing for power.
Yeah.
It starts at the top with the governor.
Yeah.
We saw Governor Youngkin try to reimagine the University of Virginia and what he saw as a more Jeffersonian approach or path. We have a new governor, and Abigail Spanberger, who's very progressive, and she's now taking apart, piece by piece, Youngkin's efforts of reimagining UVA in Jeffersonian capacity. She, Spanberger, he, Youngkin, clawing for power to remake UVA. Right below the governor, the Board of Visitors, appointed by the governor, are also, in their own different ways, clawing for power. The former rector, 2 rectors ago, Robert Hardy, a gentleman who watches the I Love CVille network, follows our content on the I Love CVille network, Robert Hardy, a man of noteworthiness, accomplishment, reasonable individual, a man I have tremendous respect for. You saw him as rector maintain power by setting the agenda, protecting Jim Ryan, going toe-to-toe with Bert Ellis, calling Ellis, a fellow Board of Visitors member at the time, out of line. He flexed his muscles as rector, Robert Hardy. Then you saw Hardy's replacement, Rachel Sheridan, and then Rachel Sheridan's right hand, Porter Wilkinson, clawing for power as they were working behind the scenes with the Trump administration, the DOJ, and reimagining UVA. You have the faculty senate clawing for power, utilizing the power of numbers, the fact that they represent the meat and potatoes of the university. And the meat and potatoes of the university is the human capital that educates the talent that matriculates through the school. And they're now trying to leverage the fact that they have this robust buy-in from professors and tenured professors and associate professors and you name it. They're trying to be the face or the voice. You have also folks clawing for power that are tied to the AAUP. What is it? The American Association of University Professors. They've now formed this quasi-union, if you may, this activist group that is trying to organize professors from a number of different organizations that are trying to kind of go to the forefront and claw for power. You have the students who say they deserve a seat at the table. You have the donors, the wealthy donors that say, if you want our money, we deserve a seat at the table. You have the Jefferson Council with their influence and their content creation and their strategization and organization clawing for power. Look at all these various factions that are on the front lines in this academic battlefield that are at war with what they see or what they hope or what they expect the future of a university that all of them love, have an emotional connection, a physical connection, a financial connection to. They all have one thing in common, an affinity for the school. But their affinity for their school is driving them mission-wise, sweat equity-wise, effort-wise, to try to envision or re-envision in a capacity that's specific to their group, right? One of these is the Faculty Senate. And we had an attorney on the show, and Walter Smith, who's the lead FOIA attorney. I'll have you verbatim read what he wrote to us about the Faculty Senate if you could here. Okay? And the lead FOIA attorney for the Jefferson Council, which I think is doing yeoman's work, Walter Smith, he's, I believe, either a double, maybe a triple who. He said it on the show. Yeah. He offers this commentary on the UVA Faculty Senate, not even commentary, it's analysis, and their power or lack thereof, Judah.
So he sends us this about the faculty senate whining again today about James Lambert being selected to take Beardsley's place on the provost search, and he says, strange. They were absolutely silent when Baucom was immediately chosen to replace McGill with no national search. And then he goes on to say, but the faculty senate has no right to demand anything. Here is the official UVA policy. And he gives a link to uvapolicy.virginia.edu/policy/BOV-006, which is the particular policy in question. And he says the faculty senate is supposed to keep things to faculty matters. Yet, consistent with the fear of complaining, it took the faculty senate 4 years before it finally raised its hand about the UVA health problems. And the BOV manual has zero about the faculty senate or anybody else being involved in a rector search. UVA must get control of its faculty. They are employees. They should not have any governance rights. And I can read some of the policy if you want. Anybody out there can look it up and read it themselves.
All these factions clawing for power, and the real power, from my standpoint, is in the hands of the very few.
Yeah.
The real power rests in the hands of the Board of Visitors. And that power has proven to be diminished of late, with the General Assembly refusing to approve appointments by Glenn Youngkin. So maybe that power rests in the General Assembly, because if they're able to use their majority control like the Democrats did with Youngkin to keep appointments from being approved, then they can basically eradicate the power of the board by keeping it from being truly legitimate by the letter of the law. That's what's going to keep Beardsley from staying in office from a long period of time. I get this message from Walter Henneke yesterday. We invited Walter Henneke on the show. Mm-hmm. He is oftentimes in the media quoted as one of the representatives of the American Association of University Professors. He says, remember, I don't speak for all UVA faculty, only for myself on these issues. Mm-hmm. I wanted to make clear the AAUP perspective, which is one of many advocacy organizations. We do not trust the incoming board to make the best decision and are merely asking them to examine the past process and consider having more faculty and students who represent their governance bodies on such search committees. We acknowledge the governance structure and the authority of the board. AAUP sees shared governance as a norm in which faculty have some authority related to curriculum, faculty status, etc., and in other areas the board has primacy in decision-making, and then in some areas the decision-making should be shared to make the university the most excellent institution it can be. It is viewed as a joint effort. The reality is now it's not. And it's extremely clear that it's not. Mm-hmm. It's clear that it's not. Now, you can make a very legitimate case that someone who's willing to sign a multi-million-dollar check, whether you agree with this or not, but someone who is willing to offer a multi-million-dollar check, in some cases tens of millions, in some cases 100 million plus. And there's two donors that I can think of right now that have legitimately written 9-figure plus checks to the University of Virginia: Paul Manning and Jaffrey Woodruff. Okay? These types of individuals that are writing 9-figure plus checks, from my standpoint and vantage point, they should have a seat at the table.
My only problem with that is what's the cutoff? How much do you need to give to the university before they give you a seat? And does having the disposition to give that kind of donation automatically make you a smart or wise or someone who is capable of making good decisions on behalf of UVA?
That's fair. If I went to the university, the foundation, Board of Visitors, the president, whoever, and I said, I'm willing to give you $100+ million with these criteria. I want the squash facility built in this capacity and this way. I want the data science school to be built in this capacity and this vision. I want the biotechnology school to be built in this capacity and this vision. I want the biotechnology school to have my wife's name and my name on it. And I'm the University of Virginia. I listen and roll out the red carpet for their requests.
I get it, especially if you provided money as Paul Manning did, specifically for the creation of a biotechnical institute portion of the school. But in terms of giving a list of, here's what I want, and if I don't get it, I'm not going to give you this kind of money. Yeah, you can do that, but should the school be beholden to what if you end up with a war where one guy is giving money to have all these things happen, the next guy is like, well, screw him. I want you to reverse all those decisions. I'm going to give you more money. And again, what do you make a group of high dollar donors? Do they have their own special university group where you need to give a certain amount in order to be included? Because otherwise, what's the cutoff? And how many people do you allow into this rarefied, section of, governance?
Does Paul Manning's $100 million
money.
donation, should it secure him a spot on the Board of Visitors? Does $100+ millions of dollars of donation to the University of Virginia secure someone a spot on the board with the UVA Foundation?
I think oftentimes they do.
And I think it's a no-brainer. When you're donating $100 million to the University of Virginia, and part of that condition is I want my name on the marquee at the biotechnology school, how I made my money and became a billionaire is life science and biotechnology. That's how Paul did it. Mr. Manning did it.
In
Gordonsville.
Case,
and then he gets a seat on the board? Yes. He also supports Youngkin, right? It's a no-brainer. There's no one else. Paul Manning is the second largest donor in University of Virginia history. Number one is Jeffrey Woodruff. No one knows that about number one. That's number one, and it's a clear-cut number one. Paul Manning is number two. We can make a legitimate argument. I've said this on previous shows. If you looked at the Mount Rushmore of the University of Virginia, I've said this on previous shows. Clearly, Thomas Jefferson is on there.
Yeah.
He's the first bust, Thomas Jefferson. When you look at the other busts that are on there, some would say Ralph Sampson, some would say Tony Bennett, some would say George Welsh, some would say John Castine, some would say Larry Sabato, Ken Elzinga, President Alderman, are the people that folks would say. The reality is it's probably Thomas Jefferson, Jeffrey Woodruff, Paul Manning, and then you pick the fourth.
Okay.
100 million, 180 million, those numbers speak. And they should generate the extracurriculars that come with it. My 2 cents. And when it comes down to the faculty senate, by the letter of the law, the influence or power that they have with hiring the next president
is strictly advisory.
Is nothing.
Well,
it's advisory.
Yeah.
It's advisory. Now, the faculty senate could galvanize the entire faculty and say, if you don't hire this person, we're not going to teach, and then you really have some power. You saw that with Teresa Sullivan when Helen Dragas, the rector at the time, a developer at Virginia Beach, tried to basically got Terry Sullivan fired, ousted from the University of Virginia over Coursera, and online learning at the time. Dragas wanted to go more in that direction. Terry Sullivan wanted to keep it more the power of the teachers and in-person learning. That created beef on the board of visitors. Dragas did a coup to get Sullivan ousted, and then the faculty said, Dragas, screw you. If this is what you're going to do, then we're not going to teach. And then Terry Sullivan gets a second rodeo. And at that time, you saw the power at the university was the faculty. If the faculty senate wants to galvanize all the faculty and say, our real power is telling people we're not going to teach unless you give us this, that's a different story. But I haven't seen that threat made. Mm-hmm. I have not seen that threat made. If the faculty senate wanted to say, we're not going to do this, teach unless you give us that, then yes, they get the last bust on the Mount Rushmore of UVA. It'll be Jefferson, Woodruff, Manning, and then a bust for the faculty altogether, but they haven't done that yet.
I think the problem with that is that it's a, how do I describe it? That type of action, that type of power is not something you can wield, like a.
You have one or two cracks at that kind of power,
yeah.
And if you go more than one or two,
using it, and they're gonna change BOV-006 to take away all power from the faculty senate.
100%.
In fact, they would probably just wipe the faculty senate altogether.
If you start yielding or wielding that kind of power and you do it on the regular, then it loses its oomph.
Not just loses its oomph, people start to realize the danger of giving you power. And they would find a way to take it away.
We have a boatload of faculty that watch the show. We have a boatload of folks that watch the show that are associate professors, that are professors, that are GAs, TAs, whatever. Mm-hmm. Employees of the university. 3,000 was the number you gave on yesterday's show. Yeah. Faculty at the University of Virginia, 3,000 plus.
Yeah.
Walter Smith, Jefferson Council lead FOIA, sends us emails. Walter watches the show. One of the emails that he sent us this week said, by the letter of the law, all the faculty senate can do from hiring the next president is advise the board. Mm-hmm. And then he says, by the letter of the law, these students, the AAUP that wants to be a part of this, they are frankly wallflowers at the senior prom.
Yeah,
they are not a prom. They are not a part of the court at prom. They're wallflowers. Mm-hmm. He wanted to make that very clear. Anything else you want to add?
No. The board appoints a non-voting advisory faculty representative to the board. There aren't multiple. There aren't, and they don't. They certainly don't have. They certainly don't have voting power.
John Blair watching the program right now. Number 2 in the family. We love when John Blair watches the show. He offers a PSA to the viewers and listeners that a friend of the family, their child broke their leg while sledding, a young man. And unfortunately, there was a child that passed away, that died in a sledding accident in Stanton.
I heard about that, but I haven't seen it confirmed anywhere.
It's ice. We saw it yesterday with our son. In fact, I went sledding with my son a couple of days ago, and goodness gracious, it was. We were sledding on ice. We were hauling.
Anybody that's tried to clear the snow and ice knows that when what you're looking at is not a snowy wonderland. It's a pretty hard packed ice top, and yeah, if you're going down a hill, there's nothing slowing you down.
My wife said it this morning. Normally, when it's snow, you're able to turn your sled.
Yeah.
When it's ice, you're not turning. You're going where the ice is taking you. Jim Hingley's watching the program.
You're going where gravity takes you.
Where gravity takes you. Jim Hingley's watching the program. His photo on screen. He says Martha and Bruce Karsh, both UVA law graduates, have given $100 million to the University of Virginia. That puts them in the 3rd position with top donors in University of Virginia history. With Jaffrey in the 1 slot, Paul Manning in the 2 slot, and Martha and Bruce Karsh at $100 million donation to the University of Virginia. Thank you, Jim Hingley, for making the program better, like you always do. Cindy Riggs and Stacy Baker Patty watching the program. We appreciate you when you watch the show. Lauren and Ivy watching the program right now. Like and share the show, viewers and listeners. Next topic on the I Love CVille show is Kevin Yancey's watching the show. Jason Noble is watching the show, and print, radio, and television is watching the show. I have 2 supervisors in Albemarle, a city councilor watching the program, a supervisor in Nelson County watching the program, multiple state delegates watching the program right now, a state senator and a Virginia delegate watching the program right now. Judah Wickhauer, next topic.
Tourism.
I want to spend about 90 to 120 seconds on this. Director of Marketing and Public Relations for the Charlottesville-Albemarle Convention and Visitors Bureau, Anna Whitlow, went on record suggesting 2026 may be the $1 billion impact for tourism on Charlottesville and Albemarle County. We've been flirting with $1 billion. We're right under $1 billion, the tourism impact locally. And she anticipates that it's this year we will surpass a $1 billion with a B impact for tourism in the Charlottesville and Albemarle County metro area.
Yeah,
and
this year is the 250th anniversary of the United States, as well as the 50th anniversary of the downtown mall.
And that's what she's suggesting. You combine the 250-year anniversary of the United States with the 50-year anniversary on the mall, and you have a lot of reason to come to Charlottesville and Albemarle County. She also highlights that Thomas Jefferson's Monticello is doing something special for the 250-year anniversary. For example, the Jefferson Remembers the Declaration Tour, featuring historical actor Bill Barker as Thomas Jefferson himself. The highlight as well is the 50-year anniversary of the downtown mall, which is going to include a celebration on July 3rd. We have a little more clarity on the 50-year anniversary of the mall.
I hadn't heard that.
July 3rd, there's going to be a birthday party for the mall, July 3rd. On this birthday party, there's going to be storefronts that will be dressed up to talk about the history of the mall, something we discussed on the show, something we discussed with Conan Owen, the owner of Sir Speedy of Central Virginia.
Yeah.
Let's give him some love on the show. Sir Speedy of Central Virginia is who you contact for anything logo, marketing related. He does the vinyl lettering on our storefront, the banner behind us. He helps our clients with their direct mail marketing needs, their merchandise and uniform needs. If there's a tangible need that you have for a logo, a printing need that you have for a logo, we suggest Sir Speedy of Central Virginia. So we have some clarity here. July 3rd, a Better Than Ever Fridays After 5, a lantern parade in the evening, lantern workshops leading up to the anniversary.
Interesting.
I'd like to see the party be more of the entire year for the 50-year anniversary. I think there's an opportunity.
Yeah.
I would like to see the 50-year anniversary include a designated outdoor refreshment area, a DORA, for an extended period of time where tourists, locals, and students alike who are of age can walk up and down the mall with an alcoholic beverage that they purchase at one of the restaurants or watering holes on the mall.
Yeah.
Seems like a no-brainer, but slowly we are now getting clarity in what to expect with the 50-year anniversary that happens to coincide with the 250-year anniversary of America, with tourism insiders suggesting the impact locally will be more than $1 billion. I'm going to say this, the next 24 to 36 months in Albemarle County and Charlottesville specifically are one that we can anticipate significant change. With biotechnology and data science and AstraZeneca, there's a big announcement that I'm holding in my pocket in the biotechnology realm or space with another company on the cusp of making an announcement with more incremental jobs of the six-figure variety coming. Okay? This 24 to 36 month period of time, we will see incremental people moving to the area, new people moving to the area. We will see assessments escalating. Have you gotten the updated assessments in your mailbox yet? They're coming in now. Wait till you open up that envelope and look at how your tax base is escalated. Prepare yourselves, viewers and listeners. And it's going to escalate even more. I hate to tell you this. It's a double-edged sword. It's good for your values, but what is your value actually worth if you don't have any intentions of selling your house?
Yeah.
Okay, 24 to 36 months, more people moving here, more demand, Albemarle in particular, values increasing, taxes increasing, market down. Next headline, what do you got, Judah Wickauer?
Next, we have Richard Randolph.
I got this tidbit off the record. And this tidbit, ladies and gentlemen, is an off-the-record tidbit. We won't mention from whom. Mm-hmm. In reviewing next week's Albemarle County Board of Supervisors agenda, the individual took note of the following in the board's and commission's memo. Planning Commission, there's a vacancy in the Scottsville District. Richard Randolph in the Scottsville District is on the memo line. Remember, this seat became available when
Was it
Fred Missile,
Fred Missile, yeah.
Board of Supervisors, won a spot on the Board of Supervisors, right?
Yep.
Actually, that's not accurate. Fred Missile's Samuel Miller District, not Scottsville District. So that is not accurate right there. But this seat is vacant. I'm correcting myself in real time right now because he beat Scott Smith in my district,
Yeah.
Samuel Miller, not the Scottsville District. But there is a vacancy on the Scottsville District at the Planning Commission, and in reviewing this coming week's Albemarle County Board of Supervisors agenda, there is a note on the memo line that Richard Randolph, Scottsville District. Do you have that lower third on screen?
Yep.
So I ask this question of why I think this is newsworthy. First, I want to highlight Richard Randolph. Richard Randolph is experienced, he's savvy, he's sophisticated. It's not his first rodeo. It's not his second rodeo. This would be his third rodeo on the Planning Commission. The gentleman is 78 years old, soon to turn 79. He lives in Glenmore. Very influential voting block, Glenmore. More on that in a matter of moments. Randolph served on the Planning Commission multiple times, ladies and gentlemen. He was on the Planning Commission from 2016 to 2019. He was on the Planning Commission from 2012 to 2015. And he was also an Albemarle County supervisor.
He was a supervisor from...
He was a supervisor from 2016 to 2019.
Yeah.
He did not seek a second term. He was a representative of the Planning Commission from 2012 to 2015.
And 2020 to 2023.
So the question is this. Planning commissioners are appointed by their supervisor, which is Mike Pruitt. It's curious if Mike Pruitt, who is running for Congress, why he may appoint Randolph to the Planning Commission. That's the curiosity there. My curiosity is, I'm always asking questions as this individual who sent us this information. I'll ask this, the next lower third, if you have put that on screen. Okay? Why is Mike Pruitt appointing Randolph to the Planning Commission, a gentleman who is 79 years old, for yet another rodeo on a very influential commission in Albemarle County? I ask the question because Mike Pruitt, who is running for Congress, is this appointment an opportunity to generate momentum or votes in a Glenmore neighborhood that has 900 households and roughly 2 voters per household, 1,800 votes on his push for Congress?
Yeah.
That's the question I have here. That's the question viewers and listeners should be asking. Why is Mike Pruitt, Albemarle County Scottsville District Supervisor, considering appointing Randolph to the Planning Commission? And is the consideration that Randolph is the best person available for this spot? He is experienced. He is also about to be 79 years old. And does it have anything to do with Pruitt's congressional campaign and the votes that can be generated, the momentum and support from Randolph, who is tied to the Glenmore neighborhood? That's a question that we should be asking viewers and listeners. Neil Williamson, on a correction, Fred Missel was the Scottsville rep on the commission. Thank you, Neil Williamson. So that's why the spot is open. Thank you, Neil, the president of the Free Enterprise Forum. Anything you want to add to that, Judah Wickara?
No.
Okay. Next headline. What do you got?
Philip Reese.
Philip Reese. Interesting email in my inbox yesterday. The Albemarle County Republican Committee, which is, I'll be straightforward. I think this is safe to say, is an afterthought in Albemarle County. Has had very little impact of late in Albemarle County and is in a lot of ways forgotten. There was an email sent out yesterday, and let me see if I can cue up that email. I'm on the listserv. Yes, I have it right here. In fact, it was sent 2 days ago. Nominations are open until February 11th for a new chairperson. Philip Reese is the only person who has submitted their application for this position. Do we have a photo of Philip we can put on screen?
Yep.
He's come on the program in years past. He's a businessman locally. He submitted an application to be the ACRC chairperson. If there's no other candidate by the 11th of February, then Philip Reese will be the Albemarle County Republican Committee chairman. This is a position that's previously been held by John Lowry, Farmington Fellow, OG Albemarle County, has run for multiple political offices locally, John Lowry. Nancy Muir, the interim chair, replaced John Lowry when he resigned as chairperson in surprising fashion. Now it looks like the torch is going to be passed to Philip Reese, who is a friend of the program. That leads me asking this question. I think there's another lower third that we can put on screen for the Albemarle County Republican Committee. What does the ACRC need to do to become relevant locally? I've touched on this on past shows. I'm going to offer the playbook for the Albemarle County Republican Committee on what they can do to have any kind of relevance whatsoever in an extremely blue county of Albemarle. Mm-hmm. Number one, Albemarle County Republican Committee needs to figure out a way to make the committee and the party locally more youthful. There was a missed opportunity for Albemarle County Republicans when Glenn Youngkin beat Terry McCullough in dominating capacity. That was momentum for Albemarle County Republicans to try to ride the coattails of that Youngkin win to gain momentum at the grassroots level in Albemarle. That political science was not done correctly. The room with the decision makers in Albemarle County and the AC and the Albemarle County Republican Committee must get younger. I'm throwing no shade on the people involved in the committee, but if you look at the folks that are in that room, it is folks that are experienced. Philip Reese could lead that charge of youngifying the Albemarle County Republican Committee. The second thing the Albemarle County Republican Committee must do is utilize digital and social media and today's technology to get their messaging out there in more approachable and ubiquitous capacities. They are not doing that.
They also need a message.
Get a message. If they can figure out a way to get a cohesive message, as Judah put it, and putting it out in ubiquitous, cohesive capacities, approachable capacities, then they may generate legitimate candidates. The candidates Albemarle County's Republican Committee have been running of late have been candidates that have had zero shot at winning. Scott Smith ran against Fred Missel in the Samuel Miller district. I said on this program that Scott Smith was going to lose by double digits. that he was going to get annihilated. He got crushed. He's been in this area for a handful of years. He had zero name recognition, and he was running against Fred Missel, a planning commissioner who works for the UVA Foundation, who's got name recognition, who's noteworthy. The last time an Albemarle County Republican has won a race was Ken Boyd in the Rio District. That was a generation ago, ladies and gentlemen. Let me get the exact. Ken Boyd was a member of the Albemarle County Board of Supervisors. He served 3 terms. 2015, the last time. 11 years ago. Ken Boyd. Not quite a generation. I'll call it a generation. Okay? So Philip Reese, who's probably going to be the chairperson here, you need to get a more youthful committee. You need to get a clear-cut message. What is the message? What is the brand? What is the tagline? Mm-hmm. You need to use social media and digital media and podcasting to get that message out. You need to attract candidates that are 45 years of age and younger. I'm going to be very straightforward here, and this is going to upset some people. Are you ready for this? You got to stop running candidates like Philip Hamilton, who, from my standpoint, this is just me talking, these are my words, I haven't seen him run a competitive race yet. It's making the party look bad running candidates that are constantly being obliterated in races. In some cases, running no candidate as opposed to the same candidate over and over again that is being obliterated makes more sense to me. Mm-hmm. Being straightforward. Philip's not going to like what I said there, but the proof is in the pudding. He's getting his ass kicked constantly. Run no candidate than someone who's going to get their ass kicked. Talk to John McGuire. Make John McGuire more approachable like a Denver Riggleman instead of someone that's refusing to have town halls and communicate with constituents and voters.
Or better yet, just give us Riggleman back.
Riggleman wouldn't touch this with...
I know.
Your fork. Wouldn't touch it with my fork. Okay? I've been in this community for 25 years. I've never seen the party in this kind of position. I don't think it even has an identity of what it wants to be.
That's why I said it needs a message, because I don't know I don't know anything about the Republican Party in Charlottesville. I don't know if they have a message. I don't know if they have a...
I've been in those rooms and in some of those meetings, and...
You don't think they have a
No
message?
one under 45, no one under 40, it would not resonate with them. It would not. And the infatuation or the willingness to do whatever certain folks say, I'm talking Philip, I'm talking Steve Harvey, and Steve is a good person.
Yeah.
But the willingness to do whatever Philip and Steve has said particularly has backfired on the party. It's backfired. Vanessa Parkhill's got comments. The Queen of Earlysville. Vanessa Parkhill says this. Maybe the Albemarle County Republicans need to engage with the TPUSA group at Western Albemarle in an effort to pull in younger people. Those kids out west were recognized on a national level. James Damron says it's too late. Democrats have overrun the entire area and stacked the votes against any Republican having a chance, and this area has always been full of Democrats. And he had some other commentary, which I won't relay on air. Conan Owen says, Youngkin won a surprising but resounding victory on a couple of simple issues. The local GOP just celebrated instead of seeing why he won and recruiting the kind of voters that he attracted throughout the state. Like you said, those are younger people, not so ideologically driven, but more issue driven. This is what I would do if I was the Albemarle County Republican Party. I would create a mission and a brand around this. The mission and the brand would be around Albemarle County and its insane approach to taxing its residents. and I would build the entire Albemarle County Republican Party if I was calling the shots in this capacity. We are looking for engaged participants that are frustrated with Albemarle County's one-party rule and its commitment or willingness to tax residents out of homes that they've owned. Look at what's happened with the real estate tax rate being increased at the same time that assessments are through the roof. Assessments have gone up for 13 straight years in Albemarle County, and supervisors are willing to tweak the tax rate tied to real estate and increase it. That is an abomination. Join us because you feel you are being taxed out of the county that you love. That will be our goal. If I was Albemarle County Republican Party, I would distance from Donald Trump and anything MAGA.
Yeah, 100%.
I would distance from anything ICE. I would distance from late Charlie Kirk and TPUSA.
Yeah.
And I would make the entire mission and motive of the organization around fiscal conservatism with spending and taxes. That's all I would do.
Yeah.
We're the party that's going to help you, Albemarle County, keep more money that you earned in your pocket, which will help you live in Albemarle County longer. There it is. And say nothing else. That's it. Albemarle County Republican Party Committee. That's it. We're the party that's going to help you stay in your home and live in Albemarle County longer. It's extremely simple.
No doubt.
Albemarle County Republican Committee members are watching the program. Welcome to the show. Philip Hamilton, you're not going to like what I said, but it is what it is. There haven't been any close races with you involved, sir. And you are actually hurting the party. Next comment. What do you got? Next headline.
Councilor Oshrin
Yeah.
votes against the Vietnam Memorial access.
Can you put this in perspective, and then we'll go to comments here? Natalie Oshrin votes no to allowing Vietnam veterans access to, is it the Dogwood?
Yeah, the Dogwood Memorial parking sits over in front of the rescue squad, which is kitty corner. So you have to, to get to the Vietnam Memorial, especially for older or people, people with trouble moving about. You have to cross two streets, and not just, this isn't like, this isn't the corner of the street over here on 4th and Market, where you've got a stoplight and a walk sign. These are, it's 250 is one of the streets you have to cross.
So this is basically what it is. I'm going to put it in very
The
succinct
foundation
perspective.
wants to build a 26-space parking lot across, and it wants a bridge that will lead from the memorial to the parking lot, so people can park and walk across the bridge.
And Natalie Oshrin, I'm going to put this in very succinct perspective, okay? You ready for this? There was a war. It was called the Vietnam War. There are many people who fought in the Vietnam War that live locally within our community. Many of these people that fought in the Vietnam War, because it was a long time ago, are up there in age, not physically capable to walk a long distance to a memorial that honors them.
And
they are looking to build a parking lot and a bridge which will help them access a memorial that they want to visit, because visiting this memorial helps them heal, helps them have a sense of pride, deservingly so. Charlottesville City Council had a vote. One councilor, two councilors.
Jen Fleischer also voted against it. She asked about a shuttle system that would ferry people to and from the parking lot to the memorial, and Natalie Oshrin Here's her quote. I still can't get behind turning a grassy tree area into that amount of asphalt. It feels weird to argue against a pedestrian bridge, but it's the parking that I'm struggling the most with.
Two counselors in Charlottesville City. I should have written the headline differently. You need to put another headline in post-production that Jen Fleischer also voted against this. Two counselors in Charlottesville City vote no to helping elderly men who fought in a war for the United States of America access a memorial that is in a dangerous position next to the 250 bypass.
I wouldn't want to cross that area.
Crossing that area is playing Frogger with your life. You are risking your life. And the men that have to cross that area are in their, 80s and 90s?
Yeah.
What kind of bizarro world do we live in? Viewers and listeners, where a mid-30s, two mid-30s females, I don't know how old is Jen Fleischer. How old is Jen Fleischer? I don't want to age her. Natalie Oshern, I would say, is in her 30s, right?
I honestly don't. I don't want to.
Jen Fleischer. I'm looking at her. You can find how old Natalie Oshern is. I'd say Natalie Oshern. I don't want to insult anyone. I'm looking up her age there. I don't see Natalie Oshern's or Jen Fleischer's age. Deep Throat. Do you know Fleischer and Oshern's age? Natalie's the youngest on council. Okay, whatever their age is. They say no to allowing veterans access to a memorial. It's effing insane. Effing insane, this world.
Natalie Oshern is 36.
Natalie Oshern's 36. Fleischer's older than that. Comments coming in. This is from Deep Throat. His photo on screen, please. I feel like a big problem for Republicans around here is cowardice. People are so easily cowed by progressive shrieking and shaming. They need to learn you don't listen to communists, you throw them out of helicopters, metaphorically speaking, of course. The activists have learned that the Achilles heel of courtly Central Virginia's is their pathologically high degree of agreeableness, unsensitivity to social sanction, even if it's coming from a bunch of loonies. To me, the message would be sanity and accountability. I would be harping on all the maniac things the left says around here and just pushing people's faces the abusiveness of the county's budget and taxation. Yeah, dude, Albemarle County Republican Committee, from somebody who legitimately is in the business of driving market share for businesses locally and building brands for companies locally, literally, we put strategies together for companies to get more market share, customers, and drive more revenue. Very similar to politics, more market share and more voters. This is your effing message. We will help Albemarle Countyans stay in their homes and live in Albemarle County longer because we will fight for less taxes locally. It's not tied to Trump. It's not tied to MAGA. It's not tied to Charlie Kirk. It's not tied to TPUSA. It's not tied to any of the other stuff. Mm-hmm. Just that. Super easy. And then use social media, digital media, and podcasting to get the word out and get younger engagement. All right. We got comments coming in. I am currently text messaging Brent Lillard. Literally right now, I am doing the show now. We'll follow up with details on the interview in a bit. Brent Lillard is the co-founder and the CEO of GovSmart. Mm-hmm. We talked about GovSmart on yesterday's show as the CVille Weekly, which has turned into a rag, my words, published an article in this week's edition.
A hit piece.
An absolute hit piece with Brent Lillard's photo in it and linking his company, GovSmart, which is a government contractor that brokers the sale of software and hardware and weapons to various government entities. It does 500 plus million in top line revenue. You could call up the article to get some of these exact measurements. 500 plus in top line revenue. That does not mean that's what the owner is paid.
Right.
That's talking the transactions associated with the government contracting firm GovSmart. Of that 500 million, 3 million and change was revenue associated with ICE, its 18th revenue stream, 18th largest revenue stream. Somehow, through one of these doxing anonymous websites, they were able to aggregate a list of government contractors that did any kind of contracting work with ICE. CVille Weekly got a hold of its hands on this and wrote a hatchet job hit piece that
And then Reddit ran with it.
And compared Brent Lillard and GovSmart to Nazi Germany.
Yeah.
And pulled commentary and quotes from Brent Lillard's personal Facebook page into the story. Brent and I are literally texting right now on the show. He asked me in a text, what are my thoughts on this? Shares the CVille Weekly story that it's now gaining momentum on Reddit.
Yeah.
I said, we talked about you on the show yesterday. I had your back. I also saw the Reddit thread. I'd like to invite you on the show. He says, I'd love to. Maybe we can do it next week when I'm back in town. I said, let's do it. We're going to line up an interview with Brent Lillard on the I Love CVille show, the CEO of GovSmart.
Nice.
Tuesday, perhaps on the I Love CVille show. And I will have a conversation with a man who is the co-founder of an organization that's doing, is it 500 million in top line? What's from the article?
Yeah.
We can read it verbatim.
Lillard says the company handles more than 500 million in orders from local, state, and federal agencies each year, and regularly contributes to a host of stuff.
Yeah.
Do you want to read the rest?
No. And he has how many employees? It was 90 some employees locally.
Let me see.
It's toward the bottom of the story. It was 90 some employees.
90 plus jobs and community, resulted in the loss of 90 plus jobs and community investment.
There's 90 plus jobs, this company that he co-founded.
And he says, and the reason that he's bringing that up is that he can't cancel ongoing contracts. And people, I mean, the amount of lack of, the lack of critical reasoning we see is frankly disturbing. To think that a company that's doing business with all kinds of government agencies, trying to affect the resale of older software and stuff like that. To think that they should structure their business around today's political headlines and just decide, oh, we're not going to do business with you anymore. They clearly have never run a business. And they don't know what's involved. And frankly, it's insanity to think that you would be tossed and turned by the vagaries of political change. Who would have known that Trump was going to send ICE into Minnesota and we were going to have the tragedies that we've witnessed recently? Are you honestly saying that you don't like this guy or his business because of something that happened yesterday that has nothing to do with him or his business?
We'll ask him how these government contracts work. I had a conversation about this with my mentor, Bill Nichman, this morning. did a real estate deal with Bill, tied to a lease, finalized the lease this morning. In the process, this conversation came up. Mm-hmm. I believe the GovSmart building is a building purchased from Bill Nichman some years ago. Brent and his team purchased it from Bill some years ago. I'll ask him about that. Bill had nothing but positive things to say about Brent. Bill also has experience in government contracting in an electronics company that he previously owned that he no longer owns. Think of VEC, Virginia Electronics Components. Bill's a man that's had a profound impact on my life. I explain that to him regularly. I hope he understands that. I hope he hears this. Profound impact on my life, Bill has. This topic comes up, and he remembers, or he offers a story of what it was like to be a government contractor, that it took him a year and a half to break into the space with his electronics company. And once he's got into the space, this was decades ago, that the whole point is it's like a bulletin board or a job filling board where contractors try to fight to fill orders for government entities that are placing them. Yeah. And as Brent said in the CVille Weekly story, it's the lowest price vendor that wins the contract. Yeah. And that the margins are super, super slim with these orders. He literally says it in the story.
Yeah. Oh, and then the misrepresentation not only by CVille but by people on Reddit, where they're saying that he's selling ICE, the software they use to hunt you down.
Yeah.
Like as though he.
Well, no. The CVille Weekly started it. The CVille Weekly started it with that mention in the story comparing GovSmart and what they were doing to IBM and Nazi Germany.
Right. But they didn't come out and actually say that. They didn't even really imply.
I don't even know why, after seeing this hatchet job from the CVille Weekly, I said this on yesterday's show, I don't know why anyone, business-wise, would ever advertise in that publication ever again. After seeing what they did to this small business. Yeah. Ever advertise in that publication ever again. And it's already, doesn't even have a newsroom anymore. It's asking people to subscribe to a free publication. Who subscribes to something free? Asking for donations to keep it open. Mm-hmm. It's already going the way of the dodo. And then you go and attack a company that has 90-some employees. Yeah. Insanity. And Charlottesville Reddit is now considering a protest outside of GovSmart.
I'm sure they care. I'm sure a lot of Charlottesville residents regularly go in and out of GovSmart looking for secondhand software.
Yeah. I know. Doxing the co-founders' vehicles in that thread. And, I'll let him ask this question. Fairly certain his beautiful wife is Brazilian, by the way. Fairly certain on that.
I mean,
I'll ask him on that. Anyway, We're efforting Brent Lillard. I think we have him lined up for Tuesday's show. All right, one shot here. We'll see if we can get this right, and then we can syndicate this later on the show. Put the PTIs on screen if you can, please. Mm-hmm. 3 minutes will close as a recap of this show, and then we'll take this 3-minute recap, and I'll wait for you, a hand signal for you to start.
You are on the one shot, so whenever you want to start, I'll make a note of the time.
Okay. And then we'll edit and produce this into a 3-minute clip post-show that we can then syndicate across the network. All right. This is, ladies and gentlemen, from my standpoint, the 3 most important minutes of news for you today on Thursday, January 29th, in Charlottesville, Albemarle County, Central Virginia, across the Commonwealth and tied to the UVA alumni and the University of Virginia. Walter Smith, who is the lead FOIA, the lead individual with Freedom of Information Act requests at the Jefferson Council, sends us analysis on the true power of the UVA Faculty Senate. And According to the letter of the law, the UVA Faculty Senate, the extent of their power is strictly advisory as it applies to hiring the next president of the University of Virginia, should the Board of Visitors look to replace newly minted Scott Beardsley. By the letter of law, the Faculty Senate at the University of Virginia has little to no power whatsoever with hiring the next president at the University of Virginia. That, according to information sent to us by Walter Smith, the lead FOIA individual at the Jefferson Council. Next headline, tourism experts expect a $1 billion impact economic-wise for the year 2026 in Charlottesville and Albemarle County, and they speak specifically to the 50-year anniversary of the downtown mall and the 250-year anniversary of the United States of America. They highlight the fact that there's going to be celebrations on the downtown mall that will attract tourists and locals to spend money, and the fact that Thomas Jefferson's Monticello is planning big things for the 250-year party for the United States of America. Another headline we found intriguing is Richard Randolph's name is mentioned in the Albemarle County agenda for the upcoming Albemarle County Board of Supervisors meeting. Mr. Randolph, it looks like, is going to be appointed to the empty seat on the Planning Commission by Albemarle County Supervisor Mike Pruitt. This would be Randolph's third rodeo on the Planning Commission. I ask the question, why is this happening? Perhaps it's because Michael Pruitt is running for Congress and Randolph lives in the Glenmore District, and appointing Randolph to the Planning Commission may garner Mike Pruitt momentum and votes in the Glenmore neighborhood that has more than 900 households or maybe 1,800 voters across the board. We know Pruitt's at a fight with Tom Perriello for the 5th District Democratic primary. Piece of news that I found compelling: Albemarle County Republican Committee. Philip Reese is looking like he will be the chairman of the Albemarle County Republican Committee. He is a business owner. It looks like he will replace interim chairwoman Nancy Muir, who took the title when John Lowry surprisingly resigned. Philip Reese is a businessman. He's a sensible guy. He's young in age, and he's got a challenge in front of him, and that's specifically tied to getting a cohesive message for the Albemarle County Republican Committee. From my standpoint, that message should be simply, we will help you if you support us live in Albemarle County longer by keeping taxes in check. This one-party county is skyrocketing overhead tied to real estate because they keep raising taxes on us. We're going to do the opposite, support us. That's what I would do if I was Philip Reese in the Albemarle County Republican Committee. Final headline, Jen Fleischer and Natalie Oshrin voted against a access point for the Dogwood Vietnam Memorial. The veterans that live locally in our community have asked City Council for a small parking lot and access to the memorial that's on the 250 bypass. They say we can't get to it now. It's dangerous. There's a hill. We're old. We fought in the Vietnam War. All we want to do is go to the memorial that honors us. And Jen Fleischer and Natalie Oshrin voted no to old men, veterans of the United States of America, having access to a memorial in a parking lot to help them get to it. Absolutely a mind-boggling vote. My name is Jerry Miller, Judah Wickower, and that's the 3 most important minutes of news that you will digest today on Thursday, January 29th.